Hi, good day. A very warm welcome to our Bettery Labs Doing It Better, another edition. And thank you so much for all the support that we have received so far from our viewers, the comments you have given us, the encouragement you have given us. Thank you so much, and we really, really appreciate it. Now, today, we have a very special guest. I think, especially for me, because I think I've worked with this person as an NS man. Let me just do a brief introduction of our guest for today. It is Mr. Darren Tan, the Managing Director and Head Coach of LifeWorks Associates. All right, and he's been involved in coaching, training, and conference speaking for the last 30 years. Now, he speaks on overcoming challenges, transformational leadership, personal mastery, enriching relationships, and innovative change. And I think the key and the unique thing about Mr. Darren Tan is his passion about helping individuals to achieve an integrated life with their work and life in synergy and mutually reinforcing each other to achieve optimal fulfillment, right? And there are many things. I mean, the list can go on and on. So I'm going to try to keep it short, but at the same time, make sure you get the important information about Mr. Darren Tan. Right. First of all, Mr. Darren is actually a certified family coach with focus on the family in Singapore, and he's also a certified facilitator for the Love Notes Marriage Preparation Workshop and a licensed marriage solemnizer. All right. Many of our NS men have been, have engaged Mr. Darren Tan to solemnize their wedding. And now he's also an active NS man, served the army for 30 years and hold the rank of a lieutenant colonel and was the commanding officer of an NS infantry battalion. Now, if you ask me, that's a legendary infantry battalion, 823 SIR. Now, that's another story for another day. He have commanded a battalion of 800 men and awarded the SAF NS Man of the Year in 2016, and as well as the Commendation Medal on National Day in 2017 by the President of Singapore. Right now, this is just part of the list that I have to introduce. Now, for those of you, just on a personal note, I have personally benefited a lot from Mr. Darren Tan. Why? Because I was actually the battalion 2IC of 823R SIR, and he was the commanding officer. So I've went through, personally received a lot of warmth, his friendship, his guidance, his mentorship, and of course, many other things from Mr. Darren Tan. So if you realize that I don't call him Darren, but I call him Sir, just take note that because I'm so used to calling him Sir, it will not change. So with that, let me introduce, let me bring on Mr. Darren Tan. Hello, sir.
Well, hi, Sakti. Thank you so much for having me on this live chat. Thank you so much for the so honorable introduction. Yeah, I think I just want to add on briefly. My actually basic training, I think maybe you did not know this, was in social work, and the focus is really on the holistic person. We don't just look at one dimension, we look at the multi dimensions. And so that is why my passion is to help people holistically. We can deal with many areas like business or relationships, but they cannot be seen apart from one another. If we really want to do well in our business, then our health must be tip-top. Our relationships also must be tip-top. And so if there's any area of lack or whatever, it's going to affect us. We cannot perform at our very, very best. So I think that's what we want to bring to the table, a very holistic view of what success is or what business is, especially right now in this situation today. Okay, Sakti, let's get the ball rolling.
Yes, sir. And as most of you have heard from Mr. Darren, that the key thing is about holistic living. So I think feel free to engage him. You can always, ask any questions and give comments to our Bettery Lab Facebook page. So my strong suggestion is you don't have a lot of chance to have someone like Mr. Darren Tan to engage him. So feel free to send as many questions as possible, and he'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Now, with that, sir, maybe what we're going to do is maybe have a few questions for you. The first of all is to maybe tell us about yourself, your business, and your journey behind your current success.
Well, a little like you, I spent my first 10 years out of school in Yami as a regular. Subsequently, I left and was an irregular. But I really enjoyed serving in the NS because it's a whole different leadership situation, and I think you and I brought that out into the civilian world. You know that in the SAF, it's about authority because you have the rank, you have the final say, and so the rules are different. But out as an NS in the civilian world, it's really not about authority. It's really about your personal qualities. We lead with our leadership must be based on personal qualities, and so it's a very, very different ball game. And so when we brought that into NS, it was very helpful because everybody NS man, and so the only way they're going to listen to you not because you have the rank, but because you have the personal quality. And so I think that is the key, even in this COVID-19 situation, where maybe we may have missed it on the personal relationships, the empathy with our fellow colleagues, our clients, and all that. Perhaps we can reinforce that in this situation. Well, a bit more about myself. I've been coaching. I've been doing a lot of stand-up training for the last 30 years. And besides that, I've started businesses, a consultant on businesses. There was one interesting business which I started. We started with a group of people on changing tires, and that's interesting because it was a very innovative concept. But unfortunately, it didn't do very well because there are many other factors into it, and rather than just knowledge and ability, right? And so, but I've a successful education center. We have a couple of branches, tuition, and so we've been running that for the last 8-9 years as well. And so, been doing quite some things, but that allows me to actually be freed up to actually do the things that in my passion, the things that I can give myself to NS. I can give myself, being your own boss, you can do whatever you like, giving myself to helping other people. And I'm very glad to be on this show today. Yeah. So Sati, I think that's really about me.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I always wanted to ask you is like, what inspires you? Where do you get this energy from? I've seen your commitment in NS, and I've seen, you are involved in so many talks, you're running tuition centers, you are engaging parents, you are engaging students, youth, there's so many things you're doing. And I've seen you, officiating weddings, it's like you're everywhere. And the thing is that we all have 24 hours. So your energy level, and you lead by example. I still remember, you told us that you're going to get an IPPT goal, and you ensure you got that, and that means you have to balance your time to make sure you're able to train for that as well. So, what is your inspiration, and how do you manage that?
Well, really, we only can give energy when we have energy. We cannot give something that we don't have. And so self-care is very, very important. We must understand what really energizes us. What are the areas that are we living purposefully? Some of us, many of us may be in a dead-end job. We're just doing it for the money. And that doesn't energize us. That actually takes away, drains us. It's life-sapping. And at the end of the day, you just don't feel like doing anything extra. And so give yourself we firstly have to discover what we're living for. And I realized that if I'm given much is expected from me. And I get tremendous joy out of paying it forward to help other people, to see people happy, breaking out of their limiting beliefs and going into a whole new level. And so that's the personal satisfaction. I'm not at this point attracted by remuneration, though it's good. It'll be good to have that, but it's really the joy of seeing someone set free, and that's what keeps me going.
Right. So you were regular once before. We were in the same journey of becoming irregular. But of course, I'm sure you had many other opportunities or options. But what made you want to become a business owner? Why decide to take on something that there are a lot of risks involved, uncertainties involved? So what was your key reason for you to be wanting to be a business owner?
Actually, to be honest, I looked at what is the best vehicle to deliver or to achieve what I wanted, and so a business model was was at that point the best model, the best vehicle. I wanted to do something that will reach out to people, that will be able to help people. And so it makes sense that the only way for me to do that, rather than just being a volunteer or doing it free time for free, to reach out to people, is to have some credibility. I mean, if you have a business, people say, okay, so this guy is well qualified, which I am, and he's able to deliver the quality of what is expected. And so that is why we went into the business journey. But at the end of the day, as a business, we have to, I mean, it's a steep learning curve for many of us. Sometimes you have to make a decision, whether it's a purely business decision or it's a passion decision. And that's where a lot of people make the wrong choice, because at the end of the day, they make business decisions purely, and then because it's just for the money. I'll just encourage you, just make a passion decision, because your passion will pull in the money. You become the person that will attract the business to you, rather than trying to build a business that will attract money to you. And so and that's key, because sometimes we get it backwards. We stop being the putting into us, and we start building something else, and so it's not the most resourceful thing to do. Yeah.
And so not many people have the opportunity to to make their passion their business or their career. I think we heard about this before, and as much as it's common sense, it may not be common practice by many. It's like a wish list for them. And I think there are very few of us, or quite a lot of us, that as I went in, I realized that there are people out there who made their passion as their career. So in your case, definitely. And I look at the way that you have prepared yourself to make sure that you can actually reach out more to the people out there, which is part of your business plan itself. Now, how did you plan your journey all these years? How do you actually make your business plan to cater to the passion that you had?
Well, first of all, you need to surround yourself with people that can encourage you, people who have capability, people are better than yourself, people who can do things that you cannot do. And so I find that my greatest asset is not really my own ability. I mean, just to be honest, I think there are much more people talented than myself, more knowledgeable. In the army, you have all these things called the scholars, right? So that trajectory is a bit different. Once at 18 years old, you are made for life. So late bloomers that us, may not necessarily succeed as well. But you recognize that, and then we need to surround ourselves with people who are better than us, who can do things better than us. And so that's the one thing I did. For the areas in which I lack, there was someone else who was able to do it. And so our greatest asset really is networking. Our greatest asset is to care for people, to relate, to communicate, to show empathy. And that's what leadership is all about. It's not about showing yourself to be the best of the team, or the fastest or the smartest or whatever, but it's really about bringing the team together, being able to inspire them with a bigger vision, and then getting people who are better than you to do what you cannot do. And so I found that would be my greatest asset, and I've been blessed that people do come along, because there'll be times where you cannot find the right people, but usually sometimes at the right time the right people appear, and so hold on to them and treat them as a valuable asset, and then they'll run with you.
So are there any specific challenges that you remember over your journey? I mean, let's not talk about the COVID-19 situation yet, but I think specifically during your journey from the time you became an irregular, and then when you started your business and your journey, any specific challenges that you remember, and how do you actually overcome them as a business owner?
Actually, most of the business situations can be resolved rather easily, but the most troubling ones for me was, again, the people are your best assets, but people also can be your biggest pain. For whatever reasons, people do change, and then when they become demotivated, or no matter what you can do, they just don't respond or respond in the opposite way that you like. And so people was for me the biggest challenge. And so the most painful thing was actually to let go of people, and especially so right now in the COVID-19 situation. And later when I share a little bit about the first, second order, third order change, that one of the biggest things that we have to as a leader is when to bring in people and when to let them go. And so usually when we keep on holding on to it, that's where the pain continues. So we need to make those decisions, painful decisions.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's that okay, I mean, as I actually highlighted earlier, that I think your people skills, the way you talk to people, you engage people. I mean, I'm one of them who always felt that you have way with talking to people. You can, and the good thing is that you can be warm, you can be friendly, but at the same time, when you need to be stern, I thought it's a unique way of how you handle people. And I believe over these, were these skill sets developed because of the experiences you had along the years, like what you shared, the challenge that itself you had?
Well, to be honest, a lot of my sternness comes from being in the SAF.
Okay.
We were tekan, right? Tekan upside down with no logic whatsoever. And it's like that kind of stayed with us. But in a way, I mean, sometimes people respond because this is what they know, and sometimes we cannot go up to another level in which they're not prepared for. And so we need to relate to them at what they know first, and then through that, then we come in and help them come up to another level. And so you have seen me in the military where I would call out a few of the soldiers, and and be a bit stern with them. But you don't see what happened after that. I called them come into my office, but I sat them down and we had a great chat and everything's well. But they understood straight away that, because to them, it's all about triggers. Sometimes when you put on a uniform, your way of thinking is a certain way, and so you need to have that certain thing trigger for them, and then they sit out and listen, and after that you talk to them, and they understand. Fantastic. Yeah. And so it's really understanding human. We want to believe the best of people. We should believe in the best of people, but yet we must take people as they are, where they are right now, and then help them. But it's not to leave them there, but to help them become better versions of themselves. And so I guess that's how we should relate to people.
The reason why I asked you this question is because I've seen, like what you said, NS men going in, and and I know it's going to be a very serious topic. They got to talk to them, and when they go in, but when they come out, they are like quite relaxed, quite happy, and they feel that and I was like, I thought he's going to get some kind of a reprimanding, and how come he's coming out and he's at ease, still smiling? So I guess it is always the way you engage them. It is like what you said, to understand them and so on. I think this is definitely something that business owners, in terms of business leadership, to manage their people on the ground, especially tough times, I think is important. And what are the ways do you think they can actually improve these skill sets? Because I'm a strong believer, if you want to learn swimming, you can go to YouTube to see the video, but it's always getting into the pool itself. Get yourself wet and do it yourself. So how do you think business owners can practice these skill sets?
Well, this is actually quite intuitive. The question is this: I mean, we're talking about a business owner and a client relationship. If you put yourself in a role of a client, what would you like for the business to do for you? And so it's really about empathy, understanding what you would like, and then how you can reproduce that for the client experience. And so it's so at the end of the day, it's still empathy. And so so it's a change of mindset. In the insurance agent industry, which you are very, very familiar with, there are people who are there to sell.
Yes.
And there are people who are there to serve. It's two different opposite mind frames, but you realize that those who are there to serve may not get the sale as quickly, meeting targets, being pushy and all that. But over the long run, you see their track record. I mean, they have repeat clients, referrals, and all that because of their ability to serve. They're not there to hard sell, they're there to serve. But those who are selling, they're pushing, they're hitting the targets, MDRT in the first year, and all kinds of targets, but they burn out because that's not real for them. That's very depleting. And so it's just a shift of mindset. Are you there to sell or are you there to serve?
I do agree, sir. I mean, being in the financial industry, it took me, I think, close to 4 years to 5 years before I even hit my first MDRT. And yeah, but after that, it became easy because I think once you plant the correct, you go in with the correct mindset of serving,
Yes.
and the rest just falls in place. You don't have to worry about hitting targets. It becomes a case where you just follow the processes of serving, and the rest will just fall in place.
Yeah,
And
that's your secret. That's your secret.
yeah. All right, sir. Next is I just want to know what were the challenges, your business challenges that you had, and how did you overcome them for this current COVID-19 situation? In fact, before you answer this question, we had for the viewers itself, we had a conversation that circuit breaker was one of the best times where we were just talking about having a lot of time to really sharpen our axe, to think through, and in fact, I was just saying that it's one of the most productive time. I now run my own live chats and everything. So, of course, the good sides, but what are the challenges you had, sir? And how did you overcome them?
Well, straight away, immediately, because most of my work was done on site, face-to-face, stand-up training and tuition and all that. And so immediately, we're not allowed to do that. And so everything stopped. And so what we had to do was, first of all, immediately, okay, how can we deal with this new situation? And so, of course, the tuition center, we went into fully online lessons. For me, that's a stopgap thing, immediate action. IA drill, straight away you go into. And then we had to figure out how to get everybody online, how to teach people, especially the teachers who have never done it before, to go online and all that. As for training, everything dried up. There was some that allowed us for online work, but mostly when their own employees went working from home, they realized that it's very difficult to do that as well. And so that kind of dried out almost completely. And so I would like to answer your question by saying this: we have not overcome the challenges of the current situation. But yet, at the same time, what do you mean by overcome the challenge? Does that mean that we go back to life as per normal? Do we straight away start bringing in the same income as we used to? Or how are we purposing this situation? Is this, like what you said, a time to reflect, a time to reposition, a time to think about how we can, when this thing blows over, what else can we do? And so that was for me the success factor, taking time to do the things that we wasn't able to do in a normal situation. And so that's very valuable, because a lot of times we just put our heads down and keep on running. We did not have the time to actually look at what we don't know, or what we missed out, or what we neglected, did not do well enough. And so this is a perfect time actually to readjust our sales and make sure we are in the right direction. Yeah.
And so, do you also feel that, because I saw that you were also engaging parents, because they had their children doing
Yes.
home-based learning. So I think, do you also see opportunities during this time where apart from your normal way of running your business, there were opportunities out there to engage more people?
Yes, definitely the opportunities are always out there to engage, but whether they want it is a different situation. But because of this COVID-19, the cracks that they were ignoring because they were so busy now comes to the surface, and they realize and they say, we need this. And so they're more open to receiving some of the kind of help that we can be giving them. For instance, we all understand this, being holed up at home with your family for extended period of time, more than you ever in your life, and suddenly start to realize that, hey, my relationship, my children, not that great. Wow, the children not so obedient. I don't know what they do in school, but at home they are monsters. Some people think that way, and then you start to realize that maybe your relationship, your wife, is not so good. And you see all these cracks because usually if you got disagreement or this, you just go out of the house, go to work, and ignore everything, right? But
Yes.
now you cannot. Now it's staring at you in the face. Uh, your children, your family, and maybe other situation with yourself. You realize that you're very short tempered. Your emotional management is not great. Your self care routines are not there. I mean, you the habits that you used to have are harmful, not life giving. And so when you start to realize this, you become more open to receiving help. But at this point in time, are you going to pay for this help? A lot of people know. And so what we did was this: why not we just give free? Why don't we just extend this out? You see, what we're doing is this: we are investing into the future. We're not trying to sell anything. We just want to pay it forward. We just want to help because what we are doing is that we're building a personal brand. When if they come online and they receive some of the things that we're giving to them and they benefit from it. I mean, they obviously will leave a very positive impression that going forward into the future when times are more stable. In the future they might want to engage us or refer us to someone who need. And so that's key for this time now, and we can see it all over Singapore. Many businesses are, especially those gig economy, those stand-up training, they are giving free webinars and talking about stuff. But we make sure that we're not hard selling. We're not selling at the end of the day that, okay, you want more, you sell this. So we just wanted purely to just give it for free. And what I'm doing is this: I'm giving coaching sessions for free as well. People pay big bucks per hour, but now I say, okay, I mean, because of this situation, you might be in a financial difficulty or having challenges. You will just endure. But why not? You just come for the coaching sessions, and you'll be for free. And it's not one time. You'll be as long as it takes during this period that you need this. And so I've been giving that away for free as well. So I see this time as a time where we can position ourselves for the future by serving, by giving, by that's not wasted. It's still something that we should be doing. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. We, when you're talking about, your future business, you're securing a future business. But of course, it still ends up with the fact that you serve, you are willing to add value to people and do that first, and the rest will fall in place. And I do agree that there are people out there. I myself, being a business owner, when I started this live chat, it all started up because I was speaking to a lot of business owners, and they were like saying, hey, I have these issues and that issues. And I realized that the best amount of the solutions were actually when they started coming together and crowdsourcing for solutions rather than just looking to one expert. So this is where this whole initiative started. And of course, because of this initiative, many other things started working out, and I never expected that to happen. So yes, I realized that sometimes business owners at this moment, in fact, should look into how they can actually go about adding value to their existing clients, and also, looking into avenues of adding value for future business itself. I think it's an opportunity for that.
Yes, right. That's right. Yeah, and so I thought it would be great for me to share this in my journey. I discovered that change management is one of the most challenging things in a business or even in a relationship or whatever it is. So it can apply to whatever we are doing. And so maybe I want to share this about the 3 orders of change that I've discovered. Actually, it's quite intuitive. Usually when something happens and we realize that we need to change, most of us do first order change. For instance, in this COVID-19 situation, it says, business dried up, so what should I do? So first order change is we're still in the same box, if you understand what that means. We're doing more of the same. So we PR even harder. We work our butts off. We create more programs. We call more people. We meet up more people. We try to push sales. So it's more of the same, based on the same assumptions that we held during the current situation and previous situation. And usually that works if nothing has changed. As in, you want to get ahead of your competitor, you just work harder, you do more. And so that is first order change. But we ask ourselves, is the environment right now suitable for first order change? I think we realize that it's not. It's not. And there's this talk about the new normal. That means the old ways of doing things are not going to apply. So first order change may not necessarily work. So you can do more, but it will not work. And so we got to ask ourselves, what is second order change? Second order change is when we start to challenge the assumptions that we used to make for the current environment or the previous environment. Does the thing still hold anymore? And so for a lot of people, they do this because it's part first order, second order, to pivot their businesses. That's the new buzzword, pivoting for the future. And so they do SWOT analysis again. What's the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and all that. And they say, okay, what must we change about our businesses? What are assumptions? And so the most intuitive thing is says, okay, we need to go online more. That's the first thing that hit you lah. That when you cannot have a physical store, you cannot do things face to face, then you need to go online more. You start to invest in technology, we buy Apple shares or whatever, So that's really expanding the box. You change it, you challenge assumptions, you make new assumptions. You start to find out what you don't know. You realize that are there areas that we don't know about, and so you go on this journey of discovering. You talk to people, you be open to people and for other perspectives, and so you learn more, and that's very useful when there is some kind of shift in the environment, which we are seeing for COVID-19 right now. So, but the question is this: can we? Is the environment right now warrants a second order change alone? Is it enough? But I believe that there needs to be a third order change. Third order change is no longer just challenging assumptions. It's not longer just expanding the box that we are in. It's changing the box. And if I can use an example which you are familiar with, is that your whole career has been with the SAF. There's a certain way of doing things in the SAF. But when you come out, it's a whole different world. You land on a different planet, different kind of gravity, different kind of relationships. You cannot you soldier, you can't do that no more, right? And you realize that I'm no longer in Kansas. You are in that rabbit hole, and it's like a whole different. You have to redefine everything. And what I'm talking about is this: the mindset is a whole shift of identity, whole shift of purpose. Why are you here? Really, if I can use the insurance industry as an example, a lot of people say I'm a financial, what do you call that, consultant, right?
Yeah.
Are you a financial consultant? Should you be a financial consultant anymore? Or there's a shift of identity. Now you are a connector of resources. Because it's totally different now. I mean, helping people with insurance matters is a subset. Now you're chunking on a higher purpose. You're not here to just connect them with insurance policies, investment policies, and securing the financial future in that way. You are here as a connector of resources. That means the ball game has shifted. You're no longer just confined to the insurance industry. You can be anything to anyone, whatever they need, and you connect them with that, and you become successful at that. And so I see the third order change as a shift of purpose, a shift of identity, how you see yourself. And that means that all the assumptions that you used to hold no longer hold. There are brand new assumptions. And they're very, very powerful, because if you can achieve this mindset, that means that the sky becomes a limit. You're not fixed. You're not stuck that I only must do this one thing, or I only can do this. You become open to learn, to grow. And you start to see people who used to be your competitors no longer as competitors, but collaborators. You used to see people from different industries as, oh no, nothing to do with me. But now you see that as opportunities that, hey, I can connect people to them, and they can connect people to me. And it's not a winner takes all, it's a win-win situation now that what I can do is that I can, because people need relationships. Number one, people need a face-to-face situation. I mean, I'm sorry, technology is not a cut it. We still need the face-to-face. And at the end of the day, can we be that connector with resources? And so the new normal, the new environment, if we can become so flexible and realize that it's not about me trying to do better in my business. That's first order change. Just do harder, work harder. Or second order, I just challenge assumptions and maybe shift a few things like going online and all that. That's second order change. But this environment requires us, demands us, compels us to actually go to third order change, which is a shift of identity and purpose. Once we can navigate that, it become easier for us in what is about to take place. When, I mean, this COVID-19 is not a promise that once it's over, everything go back normal. In fact, it's going to. I mean, we all understand this. It's going to be a mainstay. It's going to be perpetual, and who knows what else can happen, right? And so we do need a third order change. Yes.
So talking about third order, we are also talking about getting ourselves or expanding our comfort zone by getting out of your normal comfort zone to do things. In a way, I guess when third order comes about, you find that you will start to become a game changer. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir, where you will start doing things differently because of your higher order of purpose and like what you say, you see that there's more choices or there's more opportunities for collaboration. There's more opportunities to expand network and see things in a very different domain compared to the first two. Yes. In this case, at the current COVID-19 situation, have you seen such? I mean, I've seen a lot of businesses who come together and decided that the best is collaboration. We can do much more compared to just seeing each other as competitors and just try to do whatever we can. But there are some who still wait for things to happen, right? I guess there are some who are still hoping for things to be back to normal or things will be better and so on. So I think in this case, when you're talking about third order, is it something that you think that people will need to realize it by themselves through their experience, or how do you think business owners or even individuals, for the matter of fact, start to think about it? It's time for me to think of in a third order domain, for example, if yes. I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about human nature is that we are very resistant. And that means that we will hold on, survival instinct, hold on until we cannot hold on anymore. And that can be a strength, or I mean, if you prisoner of war, there's a strength. But if you environment requires you to be flexible and change, that becomes a weakness. Because you become so stubborn and stuck that you go to the way of the dinosaur. The whole world has changed, ice age, whatever. Then dinosaurs all died off, disappeared. And so you either learn now, as in you sit down and reflect and start to observe what's going on beyond your small little world, or you learn it later and it's too late when the whole world collapses on you and you become obsolete. And so for me, is a mixture of both. I start to observe, but also start to reflect and start to put in place like what Sati, you have been doing as well, trying to bring together businesses and talking. If I can share one example that I did was this. My basic training was in social work, and one of the things that I'm really, really passionate about is about families, right? And so I realized that there are many organizations out there that are working for the families, and each of them are scrambling and trying to do something during the COVID-19 season. And so what I felt I wanted to do is just to bring everybody, as many people to the table and sit down and just share one another, not so much about what we are trying to do for COVID-19, but the strategy behind it, and to hear from one another and realize that, hey, oh, this guy is they are doing it this way because this we not did not think of that. I mean, that's a great perspective. It was a blind spot for us, and then they start to realize, first of all, that they expanded their world, but second of all, they also realize the collaborative opportunities that my strength is actually your weakness and your strength is my weakness, and so we can actually help each other out, because at the end of the day it's for the greater good, right? For families. And so we start off having conversations, bringing people to the table to have conversations about what it looks like. And so it's only, but the initial part is that you must get over the hump of trust and wanting to share. You know, when you see each other as competitor, you might want to withhold and not say things and all that. But good thing was that, I mean, because they're in this case it's not really a business, but they are willing to share and talk. So it's great. And it's not just one conversation, it's just to have regular conversations, sitting down and talking about it. And I try to put myself out there as well, to actually meet other people outside of my field and hear them out, and learn from them, because there might be things I'm missing, I'm not seeing at this point of time. So first of all, I mean, if nothing pans out, at least I made a friend now, you know, but also gain some knowledge about NR area. But the wonderful thing, and I know you learned this, is that when you talk to people outside your sphere, your world, you learn things, and then you can see the how it actually applies and reinforce what you are doing, and gives you a different perspective and make it even better. And so that's the current benefit. And so it's really about connecting with people. You see, the funny thing is this: COVID-19 doesn't allow us to connect with people.
Yeah,
But this is the very thing we need to do.
Yep.
We may not be able to meet a lot of people, but we can meet some people more deeply. We start to realize that, hey, I mean, usually our relationship is like that. Hi, bye, how are you? Not really interested in your answer. I mean, you ask me how am I, I'll tell you I'm good, right? Good. Oh, I'm good. How are you? Good. Okay, bye. You know, and that's it. That's the depth of our relationship. But because of the COVID-19, we actually, hey, wait, what else is going on? Let's talk about stuff, you know, and let's get more deep. And that's something that we have lost in this very hurried, busy business world that we are in. We have never taken time to hear the client, what their needs are. And you know, as the first key of a salesperson is that let them tell you what they need, and then you say, okay, this is a solution, right? So but we don't hear it anymore. People want connections, especially in this COVID-19, and we are built that way. And so how can we rediscover connections again? And you'll be surprised, you know, if we approach things the right way, people will tell you their secrets, things that they won't normally share with other people, they will share with you, you know. And so a lot of learning to take place there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I mean, I for myself, I think apart from the industry that I'm in, when I started talking not only to business owners, to many others, I also realized that it's not only the reaffirmation I'm doing the right things, but sometimes I actually get solutions or answers for questions that I couldn't find in my own industry. You know, it's like, hey, why didn't I think of this? You know, and it's so simple as this, or it's something that I could have, you know, apply this in whatever I'm doing. Like for example, you know, doing these live chats. I mean, I used to do a lot of YouTube videos, you know, putting across messages and everything. Then I realized that, you know, how much of information or how much can I download or tell people? How much can I share? But what if I become the person to connect people to come and share their experiences? Then I will be able to actually get more information, and I still serves my purpose of getting people to get the information and you know, be motivated, be inspired. And I think these are things that started happening. And this was actually not my idea. It was actually another good friend of mine. I can even mention his name, Vanan, who has been doing. He's in the fitness industry. He started doing that, and I realized, hey, you know, why not? And we had a chat. And he said, hey, maybe you should just look into the niche area that you want to focus on and get the experts up there to share. And that's how it started, from somebody out of my industry. Yes, sir. So I do agree. So I'll just take a few minutes to you know, address some of our viewers. Dana, hi. Sarah, thank you so much, you know, for giving your encouragement and compliment. Now we have a question for you, sir, from Khalil Ramlan.
Wow.
Yeah. So he asked, how has the relationship between you and your clients, for example, parents and students, changed since COVID? situation?
Well, first and foremost, normally there's no reason for us to talk to. Let's talk about the tuition centers. Usually we deal with the students, and we only deal with the parents when it has to do with payment. And so unfortunately that's very transactional, right? But because of the situation, we held a lot of webinars for the parents, how to encourage the student to do home-based learning, because they start to realize, lama, so difficult, they're very distracted, they're not paying attention, and they always want to sleep, play computer game, whatever. How to get them motivated to do home-based learning. And so we have a lot of webinar. The parents actually very interested, and so they signed up. So we met so many of the parents that come online, and then we share with them and we talk to them, we give them examples, and they ask questions. And so we start to realize that the challenge is really about their communication at home. A lot of students, sadly, because home is supposed to be the place of encouragement, the place where they feel motivated. But at home, the relationship, the way the communication patterns are not very resourceful. Usually scolding. Once you go into the anger, scolding method, people rebel, people get turned off and all that. They become afraid. And so it's not the best. I mean, those of us who understand unconscious behavior, understand how triggers and anchors are set up. And so they start to realize that communication patterns are not good, because they always come home. Parents usually come home late from work, tired, or kind of scolding from boss or what, and so the mood not very good already. And then you have to help your child with the homework, and then the child don't understand, and you lose your patience. You start scolding them, and say things that you don't mean, and so they start to realize that, and then say, how now? And so we give them free consultation, one-on-one coaching. So they come online. So we get into depth with what's going on at home, and we talk to them, we encourage them, we support them, we give them tips what they can do. And so this is how we have established a greater relationship with the parents. Is that we're not here just for the success of your student doing well in school. We're here for the success of your whole family, as a family. And so that is a bigger, higher value purpose than just academic success for your child. And so in that way, we become a more valuable to the parents as well. Yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, sir. Khalil, also hope that answers. But if there's any other questions, just feel free as we move on. So yes, the next up, I would like to just check with you. How important do you think? I mean, we spoke about this, the three orders. We spoke about the importance of the first order all the way up to the third order, which is about reflecting. Now, at this case, how important do you think is business owners to unlearn and relearn? To completely change and to transform?
I think this is 100% crucial, whether COVID or not COVID. Usually we put our heads down and just keep on doing, and things do change around us, but we're not aware of it. I mean, when we look at history, so many things have gone obsolete, like the VCR, for instance,
Yes.
CD makers, pager, and a lot of people lost their jobs because they weren't ready for it. And so we always must have this learning mode. Always challenge our assumptions, even outside of COVID-19. And so I'll say it's definitely very crucial, especially now. You need to realize what is the tsunami that just hit us. Is it? I mean, first of all, we know that it's not going to be life as per normal, but how critical is this? Is it going to be just never mind, endure, our government will settle everything, give us more money, or I cannot depend on the government. I cannot wait for handouts. I have to reskill, I have to unlearn, I have to relearn. And sadly, I want to say this out. Earlier I said this, one of the most painful things, one of the most satisfying things is working with people, right?
Yes.
People alongside you and surround you with the right people and all that. And the most painful is also people. And so at the end of the day, let's say you are SME and we have quite a few staff. And at the end of the day, you may have to realize that some of them will not grow with you. Some of them will not go, but grow with you. You want to learn, but they do not want to learn. They want to do things and that's a challenge that we may have to find a way to help them either grow or find somewhere that they're more comfortable with. But who we bring along on this journey of growth, they must be able to challenge you. There'll be days where you I mean, it depends on your leadership lah. Are you a leader that only people can tell you what you want to hear or what you need to hear? Asian boss is like that. Don't tell me, just tell me what I want to hear. Oh, you're very good, boss, you're the best, that's it. But if you are saying, no, stop that. Tell me what I need to hear. And you do not censor people who don't speak your language or don't say things according or toe the line. Once you do that, everybody shut up. Like army. Oops, I said it. Yeah, everybody shut up or say the same thing, which even though they don't mean it. But at the end, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. But I did. Okay, anyway. It's a private joke. The two of us. Okay, but in any case, yeah.
But we are live.
We must force people to allow. We want to have people who are able to challenge you, challenge your thinking, and not censor them and punish them for it. Because they are the most valuable going forward into this new economy. Okay, they are the people that will challenge you. Okay, so it's very crucial for us to unlearn and relearn all the time. In fact, and especially so now during this period, because what your business is going to look like is going to be drastically different from what it was before. Yes. I don't know how the airline is going to help, going to make it out, because they only know one thing: fly here, fly there. They need a real out of the box solution, especially all the other businesses as well. So, thinking back our tuition, just since I'm more familiar with it, we cannot just give academic solutions anymore. We are looking at collaborations where you can give holistic learning. So it's more than just academics. We want to inculcate values. We want to inculcate motivation. We want to inculcate beyond that other interests that can be used to teach about life. For instance, nature or what we call forest school, where they discover nature on their own part as they journey through the forested areas. Like jungle training. They encountered stuff and maybe they learning lessons and all that. And so we are encompass collaboration, and we know we can't do it on our own. So we're reaching out to people who may have all these areas, and then we collaborate together. And just we need someone to we act as a aggregator, and then we present the package. So we're looking at how we can do that. So it's a lot of relearning as well for us. Yeah, one person cannot feel everything. And as an insurance industry, you understand that you're not selling the policy. You are helping them connect with many things, to lawyers, to bankers, to help them maybe sometimes buy a char siu bao or whatever, the best curry puff somewhere. You are doing all of that, and you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's consistently, value adding in different areas, and it's yes. It was a very good industry where I learned that I can't be just going out there talking to people about just buying, products, but it's about the services behind, the value behind it, why you should do that, and that's how I realized that it's connecting people. There are people who can do the job that I can't, so I can either get them to do it on their own, or I can help my clients to connect these people. So you have like a one-stop service. Everybody is there, make it convenient for you and I. And that is where people think, I'd rather deal with you. You're giving me so many value within at my convenience. And I think, yes, I do agree that this is the best time, as what Darren had said, for business owners to start thinking, to start speaking around, talking and connecting and try to find out ways to collaborate. Right. So we have shared a lot, but at this point of time, how do you continue to deliver your value proposition? As you shared that, you have your webinars, you engage, parents and so on. So how do you, delight your clients? And what is the unique thing about you that, people can take note of?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, while it's good I mean, there's a bit of impersonal way in which webinars are, and so I'm always the best outcome for me is to convert this webinars to one-to-one sessions where I can relate to the person personally. I can relate to them directly, and so that's what I'm trying to do. And when they through after the session, they feel more hopeful. At the end of the day, I'll ask this question. So, are you clearer in what you need to do? What's the next step? Are you more hopeful now from before? And the answer is yes. Then I know that they see the way forward. And so for me, that is fulfilling in itself. So the value proposition that I deliver to them is, first of all, the personal, in the way I want to have a personal impact on them, and at the end, they walk away more hopeful.
All right, sir. And we have, coming towards the end of the live chat, and I think what's more important, my favorite part is always, asking you the any parting words, for our fellow business owners who are currently engaged in our live chat, or anything that you want to tell them, share with them.
I think we shared a lot today, and what is your next step? What are you going to do next? That's the most important thing, and it need not be a big step. It starts with small steps. As you take that step, the next step opens up to you. And so the first step I believe that I want to challenge you to do is go and find somebody, just like what Sati is doing. I mean, it's great that you're watching this live chat already. That's a positive step forward. But you on your own, go and find somebody, reach out to someone else, and that's different from you. Maybe a competitor or someone outside from another industry, get them to, I won't say sit down with you now cannot, but to talk to you and ask questions rather than you learning, trying to tell people. Now ask questions to learn from someone. Okay, so and express gratitude. I think that is the first step you can do. And once, like what Sati said, a lot of times he had conversations with people outside industry, especially his friends who are in the fitness. He realized that, hey, this principle can apply in my own business, which is unrelated. And so you will discover ideas and perspectives that you never quite understood. And then the next step will be clearer to you.
Right. So thank you. And so if our viewers or any of our viewers want to engage you, have a chat with you, or even join your webinars that you have for the parents, so how can they actually contact you, or can they go to your Facebook site, or is there a website?
Well, there is a website. I think the best thing is I can leave it as a comment on your Bettery
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Labs Facebook under a comment on the video, and
Yes.
then they can reach out there. Yes.
Right.
And so, yeah, but it's a challenge out there. And in this period, if there's anything we can do to help serve you, we'll love to do that. Okay. So don't feel shy. Yeah.
Right, sir. Thank you so much once again, sir, for being part of this live chat. To share so much. It was an awesome hour. That there's so many things, and I do agree that sometimes it's not about just having knowledge, but it's having a clear implementation plan and take the step forward. It's not about always be striving for progress and not just perfection. There's no such thing as a perfect plan, but it's about taking that small little baby steps, start moving ahead that will actually push us further. So with that, thank you so much for all our viewers, to join us for today's session. Thank you once again, sir, for being here, sharing so much. And yeah, so we will see you guys next week on Tuesday. The times or the day have changed to Tuesday instead of Monday. So we'll see you next Tuesday for our next Bettery Labs Doing It Better Together live chat. With that, thank you. Thank you, sir.